tonight, the state today signed a contract to lease the Indiana Toll Road to a group of private foreign investors, and the Knox County Council lends a helping hand to the Steen Township Fire Department.
And in sports, the White Sox, Yankees, and Padres were all winners this afternoon, and new IU coach Kelvin Sampson has signed his first recruit.
Newscenter 22 is next. The state signed a contract today to lease the Indiana Toll Road to private foreign investors just before a group challenged the agreement in court. The state's budget director says there was no reason to wait until Friday's deadline to sign the lease, since the documents were ready today. The lawsuit was filed in St. Joseph County by several activists. They say that the lease is unconstitutional. Under the lease, a Spanish-Australian consortium will pay nearly $4 billion up front to lease the 157-mile road across northern Indiana until 2081 state. The Knox County Council last night appropriated $25,000 to help the Steen Township Fire Department complete its new fire station. Although the fire department received a $350,000 federal grant to build a new station, spokesman Alan Roberson told council members that escalating building costs have forced the elimination of certain features, including a fourth bay for one of their fire trucks.
Right now, we're just almost out of money. I mean, you know, if something else comes up, and do the concrete work around the edge of it, yeah.
Council's $25,000 abortion comes from the county's share of riverboat gambling revenue. Roberson says the new fire station is expected to be completed by November 14th. Knox County's 2006 budget remains frozen after the state rejected it earlier this year, and Council President Bob Lechner says the county will receive about $111,000 less pay raises given to county employees.
We made a commitment to county employees, and we're not going to go back on that. That won't change at this time. The Budget and Finance Committee will have to review the budget and see if there's any changes that need to be made, but it won't be there.
Lechner says the state also must sign off on any additional appropriations the council makes. Meanwhile, Lechner says the council's Budget and Finance Committee will meet soon to discuss hiring a certified public accountant to help the county appeal the state's decision to freeze the Knox County's budget. The Knox County Council has approved a 10-year tax abatement for real estate and fixed equipment of Duke Energy's proposed coal gasification power plant near Edwardsport. Duke favors the Edwardsport site, but isn't expecting a $200 million funding gap in the $1 billion project. If built, the generating station would create up to 97 new jobs and generate an annual payroll of $7 million. Damage from a fire that burned part of a furniture store and destroyed the post office in the southeast Illinois town of Omaha was so extensive it may have burned up any clues about what started the blaze. The Illinois State Fire Marshal's office says an investigator couldn't pinpoint what caused Monday's blaze and that the case is closed. There were no injuries. The efforts drained the town's 50,000-gallon water tower, which is expected to be refilled by the end of today. The Vincennes Fire Department is investigating a fire that caused an estimated $20,000 damage to a vacant house at 1001 Oak Street Tuesday afternoon. Fire investigator Jim Beeman says the fire was contained to the rear of the home. Although the cause of the fire is undetermined, Beeman says he can't rule out the possibility of it being electrical. The Vincennes Police Department is assisting with the investigation. The home is owned by Rocky Lewis. No one was injured. A grease fire caused about $7,000 to a Vincennes apartment Monday. The fire broke out at the apartment of Aaron and Debbie Abel at 15 and 20 Main Street. Aaron Abel suffered a slight burn to his hand. Fire officials say the blaze was contained to the kitchen. The rest of the apartment suffered smoke damage. A man convicted of drowning 3 children in Clinton Lake in Illinois in 2003 has been sentenced to life in prison without parole. The jury in Bloomington, Illinois, that convicted Maurice Lagrone Jr. on first-degree murder charges yesterday met this morning and decided that he should not be liable for the death penalty. Judge Stephen Peters then sentenced the 30-year-old to life in prison in the deaths of 6-year-old Christopher Ham, 3-year-old Austin Brown, and 23-month-old Kylie Ham. The Illinois Board of Education's plan to restrict junk food in elementary and middle schools has been blocked by a state legislative committee. The panel says Illinois also needs to address the quality of cafeteria meals in Illinois. The Illinois Education Board's lawyer says he hopes revisions will be proposed in time for the ban to take effect in August. It was an extravaganza this morning at Vincent's Gregg Park. Children enrolled in Wabash Valley Human Services, Head Start, Early Head Start, and Healthy Families programs took part in an Easter egg hunt. Wabash Valley Human Services, along with the Vincent's Fire Department and the Vincent's Parks and Recreational Department, sponsored the event.
This is the first year of the Easter egg hunt. This combined, I think the Parks and Rec and the Fire Department really wanted to do something for the children, and we're just pleased that they contacted us. So this is our first year, we hope, of many.
164 children took part in this morning's egg hunt, which involved over 2,000 plastic eggs with candy and small toys inside. The children were also given Easter egg baskets by the Parks Department. Head Start is a comprehensive child development program focused on increasing the school readiness of eligible children ages 3 to 5. Early Head Start provides services to infants, toddlers, and pregnant women, including teens. And the Healthy Families program is a voluntary home visitation program designed to provide support, education, and resources to new parents. Still to come on Newscenter 22, the jury deciding if Zacharias Moussaoui should be executed today, heard voices of hijackers and doomed passengers on Flight 93, and doctors are thinking that a little dirt may be a good thing for kids. Stay with us.
So fun about PBS Texas Ranch House. Riding, roping, rustling cattle in your saddle all the livelong day. What's so tough about PBS Texas Ranch House? Backbreaking chores and saddle sores are part of the cowboy way. Watch how the rest was done on Texas Ranch House. People living the best of the West. It's a hell of a place to stay. Texas Ranch House.
Coming in May
on PBS.
Prosecutors have closed their case for Zacharias Moussaoui execution with one last exhibit, a large poster showing the photos of nearly all the 9/11 victims. After the judge sent jurors home for the day, Moussaoui yelled, "God curse you all." Meanwhile, Zacharias Moussaui's jurors heard the first public playing of the cockpit tape of United Flight 93, in which passengers can be heard begging for their lives and fighting to take control of the airliner. In the final minutes of the flight, a voice can be heard saying, "I am injured," and a hijacker asks, "Shall we finish it off?" The court trying Saddam Hussein conducted a very brief session today when handwriting experts scheduled to testify on the authenticity of signatures on key documents failed to appear. The chief judge adjourned the session, which lasted only 5 minutes, the trial which resumed on Monday. Hussein and his co-defendants have said signatures on documents presented by the prosecution are not theirs. The documents concern a crackdown on Shiite Muslims launched by Hussein's security forces after an assassination attempt in the town of Djibouti in 1982. The White House says it's true. President Bush's May 2003 claim that weapons of mass destruction were found in Iraq was based on false intelligence, but his spokesman won't say if Bush knew experts had already debunked the report. Scott McClellan says the White House is not an intelligence gathering agency. Police say a roadside bomb targeting a police patrol killed 3 civilians and 1 policeman in Baghdad Wednesday. The attack also wounded 4 people. Police also say at least 20 people have been killed in a car bomb attack. The bomb went off as worshippers left a Shiite mosque north of Baghdad. At Monday's illegal immigration rallies across America, illegal aliens and their supporters were told to carry American flags instead of Mexican flags to show they were pro-American. But some illegal aliens flew the American flag upside down, and others carried signs showing their outright refusal to assimilate into American society. Lisa Sylvester reports.
Protesters demanded that illegal aliens receive the same rights as U.S. citizens. No one is illegal. Amnestia. Who are you calling immigrant, pilgrim? And this sign, because we produce, we demand, by a group called Mexicans Without Borders. Foreign flags waving, the American flag upside down. The images are only stirring up emotions.
Well, I think it is backfiring. I think people are increasingly seeing more and more of these illegal immigrants. I think it's not sitting well with the citizens, at least in my district, in my part of the country. People see that the illegal immigrants are here. They're waving signs saying, we want rights, or we have rights. But really, they don't have a legal status, so how do they have rights?
Jeff Frederick is the highest elected Latino in Virginia state government. He opposes amnesty. His Colombian mother played by the rules and believed in assimilation. He does not see the same thing happening now.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to preserve your culture and to promote your culture and remember your culture. It's part of who I am, and I think it's important that I remember that. But at the same time, I'm an American. And that comes first.
Demonstrators did carry signs that say "We are America," but that is also a concern for some immigration reform groups.
You know, there is a Reconquista movement out there of people who think that we're all Americans. I mean, they really believe that we shouldn't have borders, there shouldn't be fences, you should be able to go back and forth between Canada and Mexico and the U.S. Without borders and without passports. You should just be a citizen of North America. And, you know, we don't agree with that.
Many of the protesters proclaiming "We are America" are actually not Americans, but illegal aliens. The rallies were billed as immigrant rights marches, but immigrants legally in the United States already receive rights. What was really at stake are rights for illegal aliens, and polls show most Americans oppose giving the same rights to illegal aliens that U.S. citizens receive. Lisa Sylvester, CNN, Washington.
The nation's trade deficit narrowed by 4% in February to more than $65 billion. The imbalance with China dropped to the lowest level in nearly a year. Even so, the February trade gap is the third largest ever. It's taking more work to research the hypothetical tax Freedom Day. The Tax Foundation says Freedom Day this year is April 26th. That's 3 days longer than last year and 10 days longer than the year before. The foundation calculates how many days you have to work to pay off your taxes. Visa is expanding a program that'll waive the signature requirements for purchases under $25 when you use its credit card. The idea is to get you through checkout lines faster while increasing the use of its cards. Visa decided to expand the program after a test run showed no increase in fraud. Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney says he'll sign a new health insurance measure into law. With one change, he wants to eliminate the $295 per worker assessment for businesses that don't provide health insurance. He may exercise a line item veto for the provision. The measure requires all citizens to have health insurance. Bausch & Lomb says the source of some dangerous eye infections linked to federal health officials to contact lenses solutions remains a mystery. The company has halted U.S. shipments of its Renew with Moisture Lock contact lens solution. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is looking into more than 100 reports of infection caused by a fungus in patients in 17 states. The agency has made no direct link between Renew and the infections. Traced back to June 2005, a number of the affected people had to use the solution. Bausch & Lomb stopped short of pulling the brand, but Walmart has begun removing the product from its store shelves. Remembering Pigpen from the Peanuts comic strip, the kid who was always surrounded by a cloud of dust and dirt? Well, more and more doctors are thinking that a little dirt may be a good thing for kids and actually help them make them grow up healthier. Just take a look at this report from medical correspondent Elizabeth Cohen.
Come on, let's go over to the children's department.
We know what a lot of you are thinking right now. What kind of mother lets her baby crawl around in a department store, chew on a stick, and put a ball in her mouth that had just been in the dog's mouth?
And then when you're done with this, do you disinfect her and wipe her off?
Nope.
Wait, It gets even better.
And some puffs?
14-month-old Madison Sukenik eats right off the carpet of a doctor's office. And that doctor behind her, that's her father.
So what did you say when he would come home in his scrubs and pick up the baby?
I was mortified, and I would be asking him to take a shower twice and change.
And you thought she was crazy?
Yeah.
What'd you tell her?
That she's going to be exposed to things, that she's a baby, that she'd be fine.
And as a matter of fact, Madison has been fine. She didn't have a single illness her entire first year of life. And now immunologists are coming around to Dr. Mark Sukenik's thinking. Many believe that exposure to germs early on might actually be good for a child, help them have fewer allergies, less asthma.
What's the matter? What is wrong?
Dr. Dennis Ownby, professor of pediatrics at the Medical College of Georgia, researches what's called the hygiene hypothesis, the theory that too much cleanliness might be one of the reasons so many children have allergies. The numbers have skyrocketed in recent years.
Intuition would tell you the cleaner, the better.
Right.
But it sounds like that's not always true.
Well, at least in terms of allergic disease, it doesn't seem to be true.
But Kara Sherry isn't convinced. Kara bleaches the grout in the kitchen floor, scrubs down cabinets, disinfects doorknob after doorknob.
Everything gets sanitized and I feel good about it.
And in public places,
I've got the wipes, I've got antibacterial spray.
Kara wipes down the grocery cart and makes sure Carly can't touch the cart handle. And Kara says her way works. Her kids are rarely sick. We show Dr. Ownby video of Kara cleaning her house.
I think this is probably more than is really necessary in terms of trying to prevent your family or your children from acquiring infections.
Rub them together.
He says basic hygiene is important, like hand washing, but much more than that really isn't necessary. And while you don't have to let your baby eat off the floor,
Come here. You want the French toast?
a few germs here and there might actually help your child stay healthy. Elizabeth Cohen, CNN, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Order a large fries and chicken nuggets combo from a New York City McDonald's, and you can prepare yourself for an artery-hardening wallop from more than 10 grams of trans fat. But a new study says the same order in Denmark has only about 1/3 of a gram. The unhealthy fat gap shows up with KFC wings and potatoes too, although New York wedges seem to contain fewer trans fat than European fries. Researchers studying trans fat and trans global fast food say the reason is the kind of frying oil. And the Danish cardiologist who helped lead the study says he was surprised because trans fatty acids are such an easy risk factor to remove. McDonald's and KFC say local taste preference account for the differences. Nutrition experts say it's more likely a question of money, since trans fatty frying oils cost less. Still to come on Newscenter 22, Kurt Maddox has this evening's weather. Well, Kurt, is it time for me to pack up my winter coats?
Yes, it is. The warm temps are here to stay, but with the warm temps, rain is on the way as well. Good evening, everybody. As we take a look outside, it's currently partly sunny and 80 degrees with winds at west-southwest at 17 miles per hour. Humidity is at 40% and the barometric pressure is 30.08 and staying steady. Some area temperatures. Bicknell, Indiana is coming up partly sunny at 79. Bedford's at 80 and partly cloudy. Mackay, Indiana is sunny, and so is Bridgeport, Illinois, coming at 79 and 81 respectively. Our national temp map will show the 80s and 70s are predominant around the south and the southwest, and that's going to be creeping our way towards the Wabash Valley. But up in the Pacific Northwest, parts of California and Nevada, These still have temperatures in the 50s and 60s, with the current low right now being in Spokane, Washington at 51, as well as Elko and Reno, Nevada. The current high is down here in Brownsville, Texas, but the high temperature for the day was in Amarillo earlier in the day at 89. The frontal map will show that the cooler temperature caused by this cold front up in Canada that came through the northwest yesterday. But over in the Wabash Valley, we have this cold front that's over us right now that won't cause cooler temperatures until Saturday or Sunday. You see, we have the stationary front in upstate New York, Michigan, and Pennsylvania that's brought rain to them today. That front swept through the Midwest and Great Lakes region earlier this week and gave us a slight drizzle. This high pressure system that's centered over Colorado right now, it will bring us warm temperatures until Saturday or Sunday, where this low pressure system right behind it will bring us some rain for the weekend and for Easter Sunday. Now let's take a look at your forecast. Tonight, clear, low of 52. Tomorrow, sunny, a high of 82. Tomorrow night, isolated thunderstorms, low of 64. It shows that Friday will be 83 with a high, a 61 low with a 30% chance of rain. Saturday is 82 with a high and 63 low with a 40% chance of rain. And Sunday, we will finally go below that 80-degree mark with a high of 79 and a low of 59 with 30% chance of rain. And Emma, that's a look at your forecast.
Thanks, Kurt. Still to come on Newscenter 22, Michael Nice will have the latest from the ballparks, plus the rest of the day in sports. Stay with us.
Marry a millionaire? Get real. Real college, real experience, real careers, really fast. Vincennes University Preview Days, April 21st or 22nd. Register at vinu.edu.
Win the lottery? Get real. Real college, real experience, real careers, really fast. Vincennes University Preview Days, April 21st and 22nd. Go to vinu.edu.
White Sox continue to roll. Good evening, everyone. For TV 22 Sports, I'm Michael Nice. Off-season acquisition Jim Thome blasted his 5th home run of the season, and Jose Contreras pitched 8 strong innings to help the Chicago White Sox post a 4-3 victory over homestanding Detroit. Paul Konerko went 2 for 4 with a pair of RBIs for the winners. Also in the AL, Gary Sheffield homered and drove in 4 runs in the New York Yankees' 12-5 victory over the Kansas City Royals. Over in the National League, Adrian Gonzalez went 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs to help the San Diego Padres beat the struggling Florida Marlins 7-2, and at Wrigley Field, the Chicago Cubs beat Cincinnati 4-1. The St. Louis Cardinals send Jason Marquis to the mound when they host the Milwaukee Brewers tonight in the second of a 3-game series. The Cards beat Milwaukee 6-4 on Monday at the new Busch Stadium. At the ballparks Tuesday, the Boston Red Sox beat Toronto 5-3 behind a pair of ex-Florida Marlins. Josh Beckett held the Blue Jays to a run and 3 hits over 7 innings. He was supported by Mike Lowell, who went 4 for 4 with 3 doubles in the Red Sox 5th consecutive win. Beckett improved to 2-0, while Josh Tower fell to 0-2 for the Blue Jays. The Red Sox observed a moment of silence in honor of former broadcaster Kurt Gowdy, who died in February. Coco Crisp agreed to a 3-year contract extension with the Red Sox today. That will keep the man who replaced Johnny Damon in center field with Boston until at least 2009. The 26-year-old Crisp was acquired by Boston in a 6-player deal with Cleveland this offseason. He was hitting .333 with 6 runs scored in 5 games this season before landing on the disabled list with a broken left index finger. The San Antonio Spurs have doubled their lead in the NBA's Western Conference standings. The Spurs are a game ahead of the Dallas Mavericks following last night's 104-95 win over Seattle. Tony Parker had 27 points and 9 assists, while Tim Duncan added 18 points and 14 rebounds. Brent Berry contributed 16 points in place of Manu Ginobili, who missed his 2nd straight game because of leg contusions. The Phoenix Suns won for only the second time in 5 games by erasing a 17-point halftime deficit in a 123-110 triumph at Sacramento. Raja Bell provided the team-high 25 points for the Suns, who shot 71% while scoring 72 points in the second half. Sean Marion finished with 23 points, and Steve Nash added 13 points and 13 assists. Mike Bibby, Ron Artest, and Brad Miller each scored 23 points for Sacramento, but the Kings blew a 68-61 halftime lead in losing for only the 3rd time in their last 19 home games. Mike White, a junior college player in Texas, has signed a basketball letter of intent with Indiana. He's the first recruit for new IU coach Kelvin Sampson. The 6'6", 245-pound power forward played 2 years at Lee College in Baytown, Texas, averaging 17 points and 9 rebounds as a freshman and 19 points and 7 rebounds last season. Sampson says White is undersized as a power forward, but he is strong, physical, and aggressive, and he'll fit in well at Indiana. John Capillieri will remain the basketball coach at Memphis after verbally agreeing to a contract extension today. Calipari had discussions with North Carolina State about its coaching vacancy before negotiating a raise and extension. The Commercial Appeal of Memphis reports that Calipari will get a raise from less than $1.1 million to about $1.3 million plus incentives that could make the total package worth about $1.7 million a year. The lawyer for Ricky Williams says the NFL has set no timetable to rule on an appeal by the Miami Dolphins running back over his positive drug test. The lawyer and Williams met with the NFL Monday in an attempt to have the league overturn the test. The positive result could bring Williams a suspension for the entire 2006 season. With less than 3 weeks remaining until the NFL draft, Southern California quarterback Matt Leinart has fired agent Lee Steinberg. Union rules require a player to wait 5 days after leaving one agent before hiring a new one, and Steinberg is hoping to get Leinart to change his mind during the waiting period. They celebrated the life of Joe Louis today at the Arlington National Cemetery on the 25th anniversary of the former heavyweight champion's death at the age of 66. The Brown Bomber was remembered as a black sports hero who transcended the divisions of race in the segregated 1930s and 40s. Just a little more than 2 months after announcing his retirement from football, former Notre Dame running back Jerome Bettis is already headed for the Hall of Fame, the Bowling Hall of Fame. The International Bowling Museum and Hall of Fame is near Busch Stadium in St. Louis. For the first time, the hall is honoring celebrity bowlers. The organization says Bettis, who retired from the Pittsburgh Steelers, will be the first inductee into the Celebrities Bowling Hall of Fame. And Emma, that's a look at your sports.
Thanks, Michael. Still to come on Newscenter 22, the United States celebrates the 25th anniversary of the first space shuttle landing. Stay with us.
More discoveries await on the next ocean adventure. The voyage continues next time on Jean-Michel Cousteau's Ocean Adventures.
NASA workers are celebrating this week. It's the 25th anniversary of the first space shuttle landing. Columbia took off from Florida's Kennedy Space Center on a test flight April 12, 1981. 2 days later, it landed at Edwards Air Force Base in California. And that's all for this evening. For Michael Nice and Kurt Maddox, I'm Emma Hall. Good night.